Well, I'm Donna.
And I'm Kerri.
And we are Paranormal Chicks, episode 3.
And kind of a quasi bonus episode.
Yeah,
for
totally.
Friday the 13th, because 2 in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I know. I'm so excited. I love this day.
Me too.
I feel like it might be lucky for me.
I don't think it's lucky or unlucky. Well, I mean, I'm pretty unlucky just in life.
Yeah,
like,
same.
When shit can hit the fan, it will always, like, my life is Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it's lucky or unlucky for me. I feel like it's just another day. But it's fun because it's, like, fake spooky.
Yeah, totally. Maybe I feel like it's luckier because half the people stay inside.
True.
And so I have a better chance at, catching that green light.
Can we make it lucky, like, let's win the lottery lucky, though?
Right? Well, I would need to buy a ticket.
I was going to say, meanwhile, we don't even have the lottery in Mississippi, which is nuts because we have casinos, but, oh no, we can't do the lottery in the Bible Belt. I don't know why my voice sounded all, like, shaky. Like, apparently it's old people that say that because I sounded feeble.
It is the old people that say that.
But meanwhile, we can have casinos, but no lottery.
Right. Back to me saying that a lot of people don't get out.
Yeah.
I read about that. That's how I know.
Okay.
It was estimated that 17 to 21 million people in the U.S. are affected by the fear of this day.
That's crazy. But I feel like there's a phobia for everything, so it doesn't surprise me that there's a phobia for this day.
Yeah. And it's called Paraskiva-Dactyphobia.
Peter Piper pick a pack of pickled peppers.
Yes. I know. When I was looking it up, I felt like it was that expialidocious shit.
Yeah, a little Mary Poppins action in there. That's funny.
Yes. So I had to YouTube how to say it.
Oh, thank God for YouTube.
Yes, because Wikipedia left me high and dry. They did not have the pronunciation.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm. They were like, we're not even trying with that shit.
Here they're like, it sounds like a pterodactyl. Doesn't it kind of?
Yes,
What is it again?
Paraskiva-Dactyphobia.
It's the DACA that reminds me of a pterodactyl. I don't know why.
Oh, God, that's funny.
But, like, if you think about it, especially growing up in the South, like, we have been raised on old wives' tales and superstitions and stuff, and Friday the 13th is no different.
Yeah.
Don't let someone sweep underneath your feet because you won't get married.
I know. That's what happened to me, and I'm not married.
It was true.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with us. Somebody swept under our feet.
That damn broom.
Get you every time.
I know. Can you get a Swiffer?
It's like when a black cat crosses your path and it's bad luck.
Yes, I totally X that out on my windshield.
What do you mean?
Like, where the oil says I'm like way overdue for an oil change, that sticker, I X it out with my fingers.
Like you like touch the windshield and then you have fingerprint in it?
Well, no, because it's on that little sticker.
So what, it has to be in the left corner?
I don't know. I'm left-handed.
Did I ever tell you that I was actually left-handed at Ridge?
No.
Yeah, so my dad was sort of left-handed, and his parents switched him because back in the day it was bad to be left-handed. But he said that when I was a kid, I was doing everything with my left hand, and they just like would put stuff in my right hand to make me right-handed so that my life would be easier. So,
was it?
I mean, no. Well, no, I don't know. I mean, when we were in college, you had to be like get into class early so you could scope out the left-handed desk. I didn't have to do that. Well, I did have to do that shit because I had to go with you, but yeah, because we were in the same class. When the stuff that you read, did it say anything about hotels and hospitals and stuff won't have a 13th floor?
Yes.
Yeah, when every hospital I've worked at, there's not been a 13th floor.
That is so crazy.
Like, well, there will be one, but it'll be like the mechanical floor. Like, yeah, but it doesn't make any sense though, because you're just taking the label 13th off. Like how at airports and stuff like that, they won't have the 13th. Okay, so really 14 is 13.
Yeah.
So, but again, if it's a superstition, it's all about the appearance, I guess.
Yeah. False sense of security.
Yeah.
That's what life's all about. I mean, serial killers make their life with that. Oh, you think you're secure? And then they kill you.
True. Like, God, I suck with names. The guy that is from The Thing.
Ted Bundy?
Yes! Sorry, I feel like I screamed yes, but I got really excited because in my head I was thinking on Silence of the Lambs, the guy that pretends like his arm's broken, pushing the couch in the van. That is actually based off of Ted Bundy. Oh, he's injured. I can help him. He's not going to hurt me. He's got a broken arm. Meanwhile, it's fake.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's driving a beetle bug. Meanwhile, he doesn't have the seat, the passenger seat.
Yes. Okay, so you looked all this up and it talked about the superstitions behind it. Did you find out why it's a thing?
Yeah, a lot of things are to blame for it, but there's 3 things that I found. First one, about the Last Supper, because it had 13 guests, and it's, the day before the crucifixion.
Which is a Friday.
Mm-hmm. Good Friday.
Mm-hmm. So, how do they know?
Well, Judas was the 13th guest.
Oh, and he's the bad guy. Mm-hmm. The traitor. The
Yep.
Turner-inner guy.
Yep, that's him. One and the same.
Okay, and so how do they know he was the 13th guest? Like, they didn't get, RSVPs. Like, they weren't, chiseling out invites and being like, Judas +1 RSVP for this.
Right. He didn't have a +1, though. He was alone.
Oh, well, that's why. He was bitter. He was like, I'll get you. I didn't have my +1. All these other sons of bitches got their +1 to come.
I wanted the chicken and you gave me the fish.
And now we're going to hell.
I know. That ghost that was in here, it's actually a demon and it's possessed us.
And we're screwed.
Yeah, well, he was the 13th person to arrive, so that's how.
I feel like, again, how do they know that?
Some things they just know. Also, the scholars, the people who make this up, they also believe that is when Eve got Adam to eat the fruit.
Now, okay, I can a little bit get behind he was the 13th guest. Now, there were the only 2 there. Eve is like, this motherfucker blaming me for everything.
I know. And he might have been hungry. God. That's probably what he was doing. He was like, oh, look at that apple. It looks so good.
And he was probably like, Eve, I'm hungry. Eve, I'm hungry. Eve, I'm hungry. She's like, just eat the fucking apple.
Yes.
Poor Eve.
Ugh, #me too. I really do support that movement.
Yes, I know. No, so you're not like Tony Robbins, who just, is that the guy?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Oh my God, you saw all that on the news with him being like,
oh my God.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother spiel.
Yes, he needs to live his best life.
He needs to go back and watch Shallow Hal that he was in.
Yeah, banana hands.
And be like, oh, be nice to people.
Also, another thing is Abel committed the first murder by killing his brother Cain on Friday the 13th. Bigger than those things, I think these 2 things, it'll solidify that Friday the 13th, shit does go down. October 13th, 1989, the stock market crashed.
Oh, yeah, that was the crash of 89.
Yep, that one. Okay, so for real, this one, you're going to be like, whoa, mind fucking blown.
Okay, I'm ready.
You might know it and whatever, but 1996, September 13th, Tupac was killed.
Well, Tupac, he had beef with who? Was it Notorious B.I.G.?
I don't think so. I think they were friends.
Oh, I wonder who it was.
I have no idea. Was it Suge Knight?
No, Suge Knight was the driver of the car.
Oh.
They thought Suge Knight did it because he left the scene.
Oh.
But he was like, get me the hell out of Dodge because I'm not trying to die.
Yeah.
And so, but he was driving the car.
Well, I have that mini series recorded. I just haven't watched it about Tupac and Biggie.
I didn't watch that. I know what you're talking about, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah. I don't know what it came on. Getting back to Friday the 13th and all those factoids I'm going to throw at you. An estimated 17 to 21 million people in the U.S. are affected by that fear of this day.
That's a lot of people. 17 million, you said?
17 to 21 million people. They say that some people are so paralyzed that they avoid their normal routines. So it's been estimated that up to 900 million is lost.
Like in productivity and revenue and stuff?
In business.
Oh my gosh.
Like because people don't want to fly or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crazy day, but I love it.
Yeah. And I like the kind of fear, not even fear, but the superstition and the
it's just eerie.
Yeah.
And
well, and you kind of relate it to, even though it's not Halloween, always you kind of relate it to Halloween, Day of the Dead. It has that scary feel to it.
Yes. Speaking of Halloween, they're going to make another one. I think it's the final movie, and Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back.
Wasn't she in the other one? Wasn't she just in one with them?
That was H2O, but this is final.
Final until this one makes a crap ton of money and they make another final?
Mm-hmm. And I'll be to that final too.
Okay. I think I don't really know that I think I've seen one of them all the way through.
I don't like the old ones that much, but I love the Rob Zombie remake, his first one. The second one was really weird, but the first one was a freaking amazing.
Well, and you know me though, I like for scary movies, I like more psychological thrillers than You know, like, well, I guess that's from Psycho, and that is a psychological thriller. So any more factoids you want to throw at me about that?
That's it.
Okay. So, okay, in honor of Friday the 13th being a little scary, a little ghosty, murdery, I am going to do a story. Okay, so you know how every single night I go to bed watching Investigation Discovery? Like, yes. I have it on my TV, and I set my sleep timer so it goes off while I'm sleeping. And so, like, clearly stuff like that doesn't scare me because I go to bed watching it.
Right.
There was an episode of Your Worst Nightmare on Investigation Discovery that legit scared me. Like, you know how you get that, like, in the pit of your stomach scared?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it scared me.
Oh, my gosh. I cannot wait.
And that's the story I'm going to tell. Okay. Have you ever heard of Daniel LaPlante?
No.
I think it's LaPlante. It's LaPlante.
Oh, wait.
LaPlante.
Okay, no, we're Facebook friends.
Oh, I don't think you are. He's in jail.
Hello.
Spoiler alert.
I call him. I put some money on his commissary.
Y'all are pen pals?
Mm-hmm.
Conjugal visits?
Nah, he's not allowed that for 10 more years.
Oh, okay. And it's all the way in Massachusetts. So there's that.
Yeah, can't fly on Friday the 13th.
Okay, so we know that because we talked about him being in jail. So we know he's in jail for murder.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background of him because, I don't know, 99.999% of murderers, he had a pretty traumatic childhood. Okay. So he was born in 1970 in Townsend, Massachusetts. And there's not a whole lot known about his upbringing except for the fact that it was awful. Like, there's not a lot of, specifics about it, but we know that we, from the articles I read, know.
Or the letters that he's wrote me.
Oh, true.
He puts his cologne on there.
Stop.
And I put it underneath my pillow.
I can't even with you.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. But he suffered sexual and psychological abuse from multiple adults in his life. I know, but mainly from his father.
Oh, I hate that.
I know. They say that his dad tormented him physically, emotionally, and sexually on the reg.
Fuck his dad.
I know. And that
Does he kill his dad?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But no. But so, and a lot of this background too, he had some run-ins with the law, but because he was a minor, it's sealed.
Yeah. Which I feel is not fair.
To an extent, though, because, you got to give people the chance to, people screw up when they're kids.
Yeah, but it depends on what they screw up.
Yeah, if you, rape somebody, then no, that should be.
Or if you murder several dogs, that should be on your record because that is definitely prereq for
a sociopath
for one of our episodes.
Yes. Okay, so he had this awful childhood at home, but not only did he have an awful childhood at home, he struggled in school. He was really socially awkward, and then he struggled academically. He was diagnosed with dyslexia, and they said that he had a hyperactivity disorder. They didn't say it was that it was ADHD or anything. They just said he had a hyperactivity disorder.
Because he probably couldn't afford to go and get diagnosed.
Or his dad was too busy sexually abusing him and didn't give a shit. Who cares if you suck in school? Come be my sex slave. You know what I mean? He had a hard time in school. They said that the kids would say that he's weird or creepy and all of that, and that, with this social awkwardness, he would just behave oddly, and then he didn't care about his appearance. So he would be dirty and kind of greasy looking, and that his clothes were dirty kind of thing, and he just didn't care to look presentable. And he didn't, it wasn't I think he was traumatized by the kids saying he's creepy and weird, but then again, he didn't care either.
Yeah. It makes me so sad to think about that. And I try to think back on my time in school. I didn't pick on anyone, but I'm just trying to think of people who were picked on and stuff, because I was reading an article about the family from California with the kids who were really malnourished. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they locked them up. They would keep them in chains and stuff. Yeah, there was 12 of them, wasn't there?
One of those kids, before they moved to California, I think they lived in Texas, I want to say. Could be completely wrong on this, but it was an article from one of her classmates. And they made fun of her because she stunk and she only had one pair of clothes that she would wear and stuff. And they didn't know that she goes home and gets locked to her fucking bed and stuff. And it's but kids don't know.
Yes.
But we need to talk about that more. there's usually an underlying thing with teachers and everything.
Well, I was going to say, and it's like, how do you teach a kid that level of empathy at those young ages, first of all?
Yeah.
And then also, how do you teach a kid that comes from a loving family that not everyone comes from a loving family?
Yeah.
But then also, it's like, why didn't the teachers notice anything?
Yep.
How did they not go, okay, this kid has come in every single day this week with the same clothes, with no food, with no,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's because teachers are overworked, underpaid, and usually not staffed properly.
Yeah, I was going to say, with a classroom of 35.
Yeah.
Like, the teachers in Oklahoma that are striking right now.
Mm-hmm. So it's just sad. Like, and when I hear this, it's like, of course he had a terrible home life, and of course he looked like that. And then I try to think back, who was that in our grade?
Yeah.
And it's just sad. Like,
and how
we missed somebody. I know we did.
It's that kind of introspection that you get as an adult that you clearly couldn't have had as a kid because you can't.
Yeah.
You're not developmentally there.
Right. Sorry to go off on that.
No, it's okay.
Thing.
No. I liked it. Okay, so you know how I said that he was diagnosed with hyperactivity disorder? They didn't really say what was going on, but so at some point, it doesn't really say whether it was through the school or from an outside source. He did go to a psychiatrist.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, yes, this could be this big turning point in his life where he goes to the psychiatrist and gets help, but it wasn't.
Oh.
That psychiatrist sexually abused him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. So one of the articles that I read was saying that just like his dad, it was another man in his life who's been trusted to care for him, and just adds on to his trauma and abuse and his psychological state.
Yeah.
So in his early teens, he starts being kind of like a small-time thief. So in the evenings, he like breaks into people's houses around the area, and he'll steal their valuables and all. But
I totally thought you were going to say stole their vibrators. I was like, well, okay.
I mean, that's a fetish, I guess.
He needed batteries. God.
Oh my gosh, that's great. But one thing that he would do with his burglaries is it sparked something in him where he likes to like torment people. Like, he likes to play with people's emotions.
Oh my gosh.
And so while he was breaking and entering, he would like move things around in people's homes so like they didn't notice it right off.
Yeah.
But then they would be like, wait, something's different in here. Like, so he liked that like mind game of kind of moving things around to let people know that someone was there, but they're not 100% sure, and they certainly don't know who it is.
Ugh.
So it was like he liked that mind game.
Oh my God. If he would have turned my pictures crooked, that would have
like
sent
the
me...
Sally House?
Yes. Oh my God.
Well, that reminds me of an episode of, we watch a lot of TV apparently. Yes. I can relate everything back to TV. It reminds me of an episode of Blue Bloods, like when it first came out, that the character Jamie, the beat cop, him and his partner were going to this house of this girl that stuff would be moved around her house.
Yes.
And she was like, stuff's getting moved around and she kept calling the police, and they were like, there's nobody here. Her brother was wanting to admit her into a psychiatric unit, like something's wrong with her, blah, 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 blah. So Jamie helped her set up a camera, and nobody knew but her and Jamie that they set up the camera, and it ended up being her brother moving stuff because he wanted to put her in a psychiatric unit and to take her inheritance.
Oh my gosh.
So he could have it all. Yeah. So, I don't know. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah. They probably got that from this.
Right. Okay. So, in 1986 is when kind of the big changes are happening with Danny. We're going to call him Danny. I mean, that's his name.
I mean, he does write me.
I mean, y'all are on a first name basis.
Yes.
Do you call him Dan?
No, we're like D&D.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
His dragon goes into my dungeon.
God damn it. I am dead. I can't even muster a laugh for that. I'm so dead. I don't even know how to respond. That was good, though.
Does that make me a fire crutch?
Oh, my God. That's awful. Damn. You got like a GD out of me on that one. Oh, my God. That was great. Okay. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. Okay, so for the next part, it's not really clear exactly how this happened, but this is what the kind of gist of what people think happened.
Okay, what had happened was?
Yes. So they think that one of the houses that he burglarize, he got the phone number from the house. Like, I don't know if it was like on mail or something like that.
They probably had it on their phone because we used to have that.
We did too. Well, at grandma's, I think it was. I don't know. I may have made that up. I don't know.
No, we really did. I don't know why. Like,
I guess in case like you forgot your number and you needed to rattle it off to somebody. I don't know. Okay, so like I said, they think that maybe he got the phone number from the house, and he knew that the house belonged to this family of 3. It was a dad and 2 daughters. The daughters were Annie and Jessica Andrews, and they were about the same age as Big D. So with that phone number, because they were about his age, Danny started calling it. So it was like the original hotline bling. So he started calling there and told them that he had been given their number by a friend because they all went to the same high school. And he told them that he was a good-looking athlete, that he was well-educated.
The original catfish.
Yes. He said that he was, this cracks me up. He said he was well-educated and blonde. Blondes do have more fun, apparently.
Oh, God. Is he Hitler? He was really Hitler reincarnated, and he was like, who is the perfect specimen? Ooh, blonde.
Blonde, well-educated athlete.
Yeah.
So Annie Andrews developed like a little relationship with him. Mm-hmm. And so that's who he would talk to the most on the phone. And he asked her out on a date.
Ooh.
Which you know this is going to go south. Like, dude,
yes. You're
catfishing her. You told her you were blonde. You're not. You have brown hair.
Yeah, well, he could bleach his hair. You know, he'd be looking like one of those Von Trapp kids.
Or Adam Levine right now.
Yes.
God, that hair is awful.
He's so hot with his black hair.
He's not hot to me. I'm like, can you eat a biscuit? Like, he's too skinny for me.
He could eat my biscuit.
Oh, my God.
He could butter it.
Oh, my God. Okay. From vibrators to butter and biscuits. This is why we have an E next to it. This is why we're explicit. Oh, my God. That's great. Okay.
But how am I single?
Okay. All right. So Danny shows up at the house, and clearly he's not a blonde athlete.
Yeah.
He's disheveled and, like we said, greasy.
Oh, he didn't even bathe for this?
No, okay, listen. One of the articles that I found, this is exactly what it says. Her blind date was disheveled, greasy, dark-haired boy with no attractive features whatsoever.
God.
I know.
Savage as fuck.
Right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe don't cut him some slack. He's a murderer. But
I mean, he might have good cuticles. I mean, you know, because he's greasy.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Way to see the silver lining in that.
Yeah, well, he showed me a picture of him.
Oh, okay. When he sent you that letter.
Holding his dragon.
Oh, my God. I love it when you crack yourself up. So, Annie was a better person than we are. Because she was like, all right, he's not who he said he was, but I'm going to go ahead and go with him to the fair.
No, that's how most people are, especially on Lifetime. When those people, like the men, they're like, oh, I'm 16 too. And then they meet them and they're like 45. And the girls are like, well, okay. And then they all end up dead.
Hashtag I watched To Catch a Predator.
Right.
So they go to the local fair, and they're only there for like an hour. So a little backstory about Annie and Jessica. Their mom had just died of cancer. And so it was just them and their dad.
Yeah.
And it was said that when Annie was out on the date with Danny, that he was like oddly interested in her mom dying.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Like that he would ask a lot of like of weird questions, like stuff like, again, this is their first date. And he'd be like, how did you feel? Like, how sad were you? And stuff like that. Like how, like the moment your mom died, what did it feel like? How much did she suffer? Like that kind of stuff.
Well, at least he cared about her.
It was the first date and it was an hour. That's a little too far.
It was speed dating.
Oh, God. Just because that's how you and Danny date over your pen palship.
He is my boyfriend.
After the date, fast forward.
Okay.
So Annie and her sister, Jessica, they are, because like I said, their mom had died pretty recently. And so they were like, let's do a seance in our basement.
Oh, no.
Yes. Let's do a seance and let's see if we can connect with mom.
Okay.
So when they're doing the seance, they start hearing like a rhythmic knocking on the bedroom walls.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so they think from the seance, they're like, holy shit, we actually connected with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, this is mom talking to us. Because they would ask questions and then the knocks would answer them. So through the seance, they had the conversations with their mom with the knocking on the wall.
Yeah.
Well, then the seance ended, but the knocking didn't. And so they were like, fuck. We opened a portal.
They conjured something.
Shit. We should not have used that Ouija board.
Yeah.
Which is why I won't use one.
For real.
Because I really do feel like that just opens you up to stuff that you are not prepared for.
Totally.
So the knockings became like regular in the house. And the thing with the girls is that their dad was now a single parent.
Yeah.
And so just to make ends meet, he had to work the night shift.
Oh, gosh.
So they were always alone at night, which is why they're like in the basement doing a seance with a Ouija board and nobody's around to say anything, to be like, don't open that portal.
Yeah.
So their dad's not home at night.
But why were they in the basement then if he's not even home?
Because they heard about the Sally house and they knew that that's where the portal was.
They said, here's your welcome mat. Come on.
I don't know. And I also think it's weird that they're in the basement, but then they heard the knocks in the bedroom door. I mean, in the bedroom walls. So those details may not be exact. It's just what a couple of things have said. So like I said, the knockings became commonplace. Like every night they would hear the knockings and weird shit started happening. So they would be in a room and then leave it to go sit and watch TV or something. When they come back, stuff would be in different places. Like stuff would be strewn out across the room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like they would be in the living room and like leave to go to their bedroom and then come back and furniture would be in different places, like across the room, like it would be switched.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so they were like, holy crap, like this wasn't mom we were talking to. This was a demon. Like this is we really have done something. This wasn't mom the whole time.
Yeah, we done did it.
So they tell their dad Brian about it because they're like, look, something's going on. Stuff's moving.
Yeah.
Something's happening. And he was like, this is stupid. Y'all are like, he thought that they were making it up. Mm-hmm. And he was like, just for attention because he was working the night shift and they were by themselves. And so he was like, they just want attention, or they're not dealing with their mom's death. And so this is just like their outlet for it.
Yeah.
So in January of 1987, the knocking that they were hearing in the bedrooms and like in the walls of the house had become such commonplace that they were like over it. Like it just was like, this is obnoxious. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't even scary to them anymore because it was just happening all the time. Mm-hmm. Well, but this one night, they heard the noise in the basement and not in their, like, in the walls of the rooms and living room. So I can just, like, picture this because I feel like this is something that you and I would do. Annie, who was older, she got her kitchen knife and had Jessica walking behind her, and I can like just like see me and you being like, what the hell's that noise? Yes. And so like I've got the kitchen knife and I'm like, this is like our plot if we like legit, if we're like in a like New Orleans or something and we're like, okay, I've got the mace or I've got this, like I'll hit them, you start running, and then I'll catch up with you. Like I can see us like walking down the basement, like me with the knife. So they decide to go check it out because they're like, okay, well this is new, like in the basement because it had been in the bedrooms and the living room and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they get to the basement and written in blood was, "I'm in your room, come find me."
What the fuck?
Yes.
I would have been like, no.
Bye. Yes. So, of course, they, like, hauled ass out of there. And so ran to the neighbor's house and was like, call dad. Shit. Something happened. Call dad. So their dad comes home and he is like, this is bullshit. Y'all did this. It ends up being ketchup and not blood.
Oh my God. I was hoping that it wasn't blood from like a pet.
Yeah. And so he was like, y'all have to stop this, because again, they had been calling him, like hearing all these noises. It's been going on for a while. And he's like, makes them go to counseling because he's like, he thinks that it's attention seeking behavior, that they're creating these situations to get him to come home.
At least he sent them to counseling.
Not just punish them.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So he was like, they're clearly struggling with losing their mom and they're, again, attention seeking and they're making all this happen, so I'm going to send them to counseling.
Yeah.
So several weeks after that, where they get sent to counseling and seen the sign that says, the message that said, "I'm in your room, come and find me." The girls are at home alone again because it's night and their dad's working. And they start to hear the knocking again. And this time it's in Annie's bedroom. And so the girls are like, all right, here we go again.
Yeah.
We're going to figure this out. So Annie, armed with her kitchen knife, and Jessica coming in behind her. They go up to her bedroom.
I got a chill thinking about this. I know.
legit, this is the only episode that I have been truly scared watching. Yeah.
Well, because I'm thinking about this, I would be freaked out.
Because these girls are maybe in high school.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So they hear the noise coming out of Annie's room. And so they start to go up the stairs with their knife in hand. When they get to Annie's bedroom, on the wall it says, "I'm back. Find me if you can."
Nope. Gotta go.
Yes. Well, I love one of the articles I found said the girls telling it from their point of view, even though it wasn't them. And it had in quotes that they were hell no. Ran to
hell to the no.
So the girls were hell no and ran to the neighbor.
Okay. So, but how would the dad not know his own daughter's writing? Because I feel if I was writing with ketchup, it would still be
your handwriting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that he, again, feel like I'm projecting, but I feel like he was so probably distraught himself, and
he was projecting onto them,
assuming that this was their grief.
Yeah,
when it was really kind of his own that he wasn't dealing with and didn't know how to handle.
He should pay us for this psych eval.
Psych 101, thank you.
Investigation discovery, thank you.
Yes. Also, the article that I was telling you about that was telling it from the girl's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cute when it said, for the message, "I'm back, find me if you can." It said, "The girls declined the invitation." Okay, so of course they go back over to the neighbor's house. It's call dad. So dad comes home from work. Brian, the dad, is "Okay, I'm over this. I'm going back into the house. This is so stupid. I'm proving that this is y'all once and for all kind of thing."
Yeah.
So when they went over to the neighbors, they brought the neighbor to the house and was "Look at this."
Yeah.
And call dad. And so when the dad gets home, or when he gets there, he talks to the neighbor and the kids. And so he's "Okay, look, I'm over this. I'm going to go look in this house, but I know it's y'all. Y'all have to stop. But okay, I'm going to go look."
Yeah.
When he gets into the house, he notices that it's way worse than they said it was. There's shit everywhere. It's just way disheveled, more than because then it was okay, the neighbor said he saw this stuff.
Yeah.
He said something was going on, so he had, he was all right, let me go in and look. This is when it gets, okay. Brian gets into Annie's room, because that's where the "I'm back, come and find me" was. So he goes into Annie's room, and there was a new message painted on the wall.
Okay.
And it said, "Marry me."
Oh my gosh.
So Brian turns around and looks on the other side of the room, and he sees a young boy standing dressed in his dead wife's clothes. It is...
Oh my God.
I think you just sucked all the air out of the room. The boy...
I thought you were going to say, in a suit.
No. The boy was wearing the mom's makeup, wedding dress, and in a blonde wig, holding a hatchet.
Well, he was blonde at least.
And that young boy was Danny LaPlante.
What the fuck?
So he was draped in the dead wife's wedding dress. His face was splashed with war paint. So one thing says he's wearing like female's makeup, and one thing is he's wearing war paint. The episode that I saw on Investigation Discovery, he was it was a white face. You know how back in the old days, when they would wear, Revolutionary time, when they would wear really white powder?
Oh, yeah.
With, the colored lips, kind of like that. His makeup was really, really white in that episode. So, when he sees Danny LaPlante standing there with the hatchet, he starts swinging. Danny does, with the hatchet.
Oh, I thought you meant the dad. I was no, he has a hatchet.
No. Danny starts swinging with a hatchet. So Brian, somehow does, Matrix style, dodging the hatchet and runs to the neighbor's house. And they call the police. So Brian, like I said, Matrix style, dodges the hatchet and runs to the neighbor's house, but nobody follows him. Danny doesn't run after him.
Okay.
And so they call the police, and the police come right out, and they start looking through the house, and they're like, where the fuck did he go?
Yeah.
So they, like I said, they found out that all the messages were actually written in ketchup. And so they're like, okay, where did he go? And the police officers are searching around, and they find a hidden crawl space behind a cupboard, which was built into the wall of Annie's bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
When the police officer opened the hatch...
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I have chill bumps.
When the police officer opened the hatch, he discovered Danny LaPlante curled up inside.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So they removed him from the crawl space and put him under arrest.
Well, how did he didn't have his hatchet with him?
I don't guess. I guess he just, I don't know. I wasn't there. He doesn't write me in prison. He writes you.
Yeah, I have so many questions for him.
Oh, that next letter is going to be so long.
Oh, yeah. And first, I'm going to be like, was it Great Value or Heinz? I need to know. I don't want no scrub.
Okay, so the officers do a thorough search of the house, and they find that LaPlante had been living in the walls of the home. So all that knocking, all that time was LaPlante.
Yes.
Was Danny. They found that he had tunneled extra ways through the house. It's besides that one little kind of hidden built-in area off of Annie's room, it was all over the house that he had made.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
And that he had peepholes scattered out throughout the house so that he could follow Annie, no matter what room she was in, he could see her.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So that's when it was like I said, kind of all coming together that he, the whole time, had been the one that was pretending to be the ghost of their mom. And that they think, they don't have proof of it, that his plan was to, the marry me thing was not meant for Brian to see. It was meant for the girls to see and for him to reveal himself to the girls as their dead mom. I just think it's weird that, why does it say marry me to Annie? She was the one that was supposed to find it, which I get, he was in love with her. She ditched him on that blind date, even though she went and didn't completely ditch him, but he was obsessed with her from that. And so I get the marry me part. What I don't get is why he dressed as her dead mother.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you know that the marry me was for Annie to find, and that he was probably going to kill her and her sister when they found it.
Yeah.
But ended up being her dad that came in because they ran next door.
Right.
But so it's you can't reason or find logic in the unreasonable, but
right.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
That following year, he was placed into a juvenile facility, and he stayed there until October of 1987. So as soon as he is released, because he just technically was trespassing and stuff.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So he was released. In November, he started his robberies again. So a month after he was released.
Yeah.
In November, when one of the houses that he robbed, he stole 2 handguns.
Oh, lovely. He was like, no more hatchet. This is going to get the job done.
The hatchet didn't work. Look, Matrix dodged. It happened. Brian got away. No more hatchet. Let's go with the guns.
Right.
So on December 1st, 1987, Danny broke into the Gustafson house. And that house was about half a mile from his house. There, in the house, when he broke into it, Priscilla, who's 33, and her 2 children, Abigail and William, who are 7 and 5.
Oh, bless
were
it.
in the house. Priscilla's husband, Andrew, was at work when he invaded the home. So when Andrew gets home from work, he finds Priscilla laying face down in her bed with all of her pillows covered in dry blood.
Oh, my gosh.
She had been raped and shot multiple times in the head at point-blank range.
Oh, my gosh.
So Andrew calls the police, and then he discovers the bodies of his 2 children in 2 different bathtubs.
No.
5-year-old William, and one thing said 7, one article said 8-year-old Abigail.
Bless it.
They both were drowned in separate bathtubs.
Drowned?
Yes.
Was the girl sexually assaulted?
It didn't say. It just said that the mom was. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, they're looking at, he escalated pretty quickly, though. He went, granted, he had lived in somebody's walls, which is very high. That's escalation. Well, it's not escalation. That's serious. He had lived in those walls, but he escalated from just living in somebody's walls and scaring somebody to murder. And they talked about...
Well, he wanted to murder.
True. Allegedly. But what they think, too, is that... how you said he got rid of the hatchet and went to the guns, was that he didn't have the confidence or the physical strength to subdue them.
Yeah.
And so they found restraints in the house, too. And so what they think that he did was came in guns blazing with the restraints, restrained them, because there was 3 people in the house.
Yeah.
And killed Priscilla first.
Oh, gosh.
She would be the hardest one to subdue. Killed her first and then killed the kids.
Well, at least he killed her first and she didn't have to witness him.
Him drowning her kids. I know.
God.
I know. So it didn't take long for the authorities to figure out it was him. And nothing I read really said how they figured out it was him so quickly, but...
He probably wrote in ketchup.
Well, but I think they did say that he had moved things around, kind of like previous MO when he would burglarize. So I'm going to imagine that might be why. When they kind of figured out it was him, he had already fled the area. So they started a manhunt looking for him, and they were like, he's armed. He's very dangerous. And given that he hid in walls for so long, there's no telling where he's hiding.
I was about to say, he loves hide and seek.
He was good at it. For months, he hid in their walls. Meanwhile, what were his parents doing? So a few towns over, he broke into a woman's home and kidnapped her and her vehicle. I don't know why he kidnapped her and just take the car, but he kidnapped her. She eventually escaped, and somebody else that had seen his picture on the news reported him. And so after 48 hours of the manhunt, he was found hiding in a dumpster. When they took him into custody, and they took his I don't know how they would do it, but I'm assuming took all of his clothes off for evidence and stuff. They found one of Abigail's hairs in his sock. And so that was just the forensic proof of, okay, he actually did this. 1 year later, so I think that would have been in 1988, he was sentenced to 3 life sentences for murder.
Oh my gosh.
But wait, there's more.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Some stuff says he's been this model prisoner and all of this stuff, but he did in 2000, I think it was 2014, tried to sue the prison system because he said they violated his religious rights because he says he's a practicing Satanist and that they wouldn't provide him with sufficient material to perform his satanic rituals. But nothing ever came of that.
What does he need? A goat?
A wedding dress, a blonde wig. I don't know.
I gotta have my outfit.
I know. I'm not complete without my blonde hair.
I need my rouge.
So he was trying to do all these appeals and that sort of thing. But they were he's not rehabilitated. He has no remorse. In 2017, though, this was a quote that he finally sent out, but nobody's buying it. He said, I do not have the words to fully express my profound sorrow. I am truly sorry for the harm I have caused. From the very essence of who I am, from the depth of my soul, I am sorry. A couple of years ago, one of the highest courts in Massachusetts had ruled that you can't sentence juveniles to life in prison without parole. And so he had been sentenced to 3 life sentences without parole. And so they had to do a resentencing hearing. And this was in March of last year. So he was resentenced. There was some kind of talk about should he be sentenced to those 3 life sentences, serving them consecutively or concurrently. The judge ruled that he's not rehabilitated, that he is just now starting to show sorrow, and it's only because the law was changed and nobody's buying it.
Yeah.
And so the judge resentenced him to the maximum possible punishment, which is 3 consecutive life sentences with the opportunity for parole after 45 years from the date of his conviction. So in 15 years, he'll be eligible for parole. But I seriously doubt he's going to get it. But
wow, I hope he doesn't.
Yeah. So there's a couple of pictures that we'll link in the show notes because this picture, did I show you that picture?
Yes.
His eyes look so dead, terrifying. I don't know. I just thought it was just the thought of someone hiding in your walls and, these kids thinking that they're doing this seance and they're connecting with their dead mother.
Yes.
And it's really him knocking, can you imagine?
No, that is fucking scary.
Yes. So that is the story of Danny LaPlante and the only episode of Your Worst Nightmare. The only ID episode ever to truly, I was gave me a pit in my stomach.
Yeah. That was a lot.
It is a lot. It is.
It's just so scary, too, that he had peepholes everywhere.
Yeah.
All I can picture is, just seeing his eyeball, look
move.
around.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, and, just
You're not safe in your own home.
Yeah, just the invasion and there's a word I can't think of right now, but just not even just the invasion of privacy, but the invasion of your safety.
I think the most terrifying is him being in their mom's wedding dress.
Could you imagine reading something that you thought was blood that said, "Marry me" on the wall, and you turn around and see a guy with a blonde wig wearing your dead wife's wedding dress holding a hatchet?
No. Literally, I would not be in that house. Once I saw, "I'm in your room, come and find me."
I'm back, come find me. Yeah, you were right. The first one was, "I'm in your room, come find me." And the second one was, "I'm back, find me if you can."
The first one, I would have been like, "I'm not staying there. Take me to my aunt's, take me to my grandmother's because I'm not staying in here."
See, and to me, the scariest one was, "I'm back. Find me if you can."
Yeah.
Not because when he did that one was when the knocking was coming from different places. And so it was at least for me, at least in the first one, he's like, "I'm in your room." Meanwhile, I'd be like sleeping with my dad or my sister. But on the second one, it was like, I'm back, come find me. You have no idea where is that spirit or person or, they had no idea what it was. They thought it was just what they thought was their mom's ghost. And then they're like, oh my God, it's a demon.
Yeah.
Well, let's creep it real, as you would say. We wouldn't have started with the freaking seance of, well, we do a seance, but we wouldn't be doing a damn Ouija board. And, it's like nature versus nurture. How much of it is because his dad did those things to him and how much of it was just ingrained in him, like, or, naturally predisposed to that? Or, is it that combination of both where
I think it's both.
He had that and then he had it in him to begin with and then it was fueled by his awful childhood.
Yeah, I think it's honestly, in my opinion, like 60-40. 60 nurture, 40 nature.
Yeah. So, that's Danny LaPlante.
I'm going to stop writing him. He's scary.
He could give you some good makeup tips, I bet.
Yes, totally.
Teach you how to curl your hair.
I use my toilet paper rolls. Secure it with my shank.
Who needs the hairpin, giggling granny? I've got a shank.
Oh, God.
Damn.
If you didn't listen to the episode 2,
go back and listen because it'll make more sense.
Yeah, you won't giggle about it, though.
No.
Now it's time for my creepy story, which I think might not be as creepy as yours. It really did creep me out. Like, I've been looking over my shoulder or thinking, oh my gosh, like, that time that I misplaced something, was that me or was that someone moving shit?
I know. I told you it legit is the only episode that has truly, like, gave me that pit of my stomach scared.
Yeah. If someone comes at me wearing my mom's muumuu, I'm going to die.
With her stretchy pants and her flip-flops?
Yes. She got her flippy-floppies.
Oh, that is great.
Oh, my gosh. I'll be like, halt in the name of the Lord. Just saying. Okay. Sorry. Enough talking about my boyfriend. Okay, so this is going to be the story of Robert the doll. Your face.
I was not expecting a doll. Oh, Lord. This is going to be creepy.
Yes. Okay, so he is believed to be one of the most haunted dolls in America.
Even more than Chucky?
He was actually the inspiration.
I was hoping you'd say that.
For Chucky.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. So, beginning of this story takes place in 1904.
So, those dolls were creepy AF back then.
Mm-hmm. It was in Key West, Florida, where things get weird.
Yes, Florida is cray-cray.
Yes. There's a podcast that's called Felonious Florida.
That's funny.
I was like, oh, that's catchy and so freaking true. So, picture it. Robert Eugene Otto was 4 years old. He was given a doll that was 3 feet tall, which would be life-size for him.
Yeah.
It was made of fabric stuffed with straw.
Time out. I had a doll that was tall like that, too. And I had, I can't remember if it was her dress or just a matching dress. It was that pink. It was a pink dress, and it came with heels.
Oh, my gosh.
I totally have a picture of me in it, and it is great.
I'm going to need to see that. One of the stories says that Robert was given the doll by a servant who had been mistreated because Robert's parents were assholes,
Yes.
They were really rich, had many servants, and they were known to be fucking assholes.
That's always the start to a story.
I know. So they say that she had cursed the doll using voodoo to get back at them for being
at the parents?
Yeah. But throughout the years, people discovered that it was actually given to Robert by his grandfather, and he purchased the doll in Germany. However, it's almost equally as scary. The doll was never meant to be a doll. It was meant to be a mannequin in a clown display.
Oh,
Yes. I'm like, that might trump voodoo.
Yes.
So I don't know what made his grandfather like, hey, that scary ass thing?
Yeah.
My grandson would really love that.
Yes. That's weird.
Yes. Okay. So back to the story.
Time out. Did you find a picture of the doll?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna put it in the show notes? Because I'm dying to see.
Yeah, I'm going to show you in just a second.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to let you hear all of this.
And then see it?
Mm-hmm. Let it marinate. And then when you see it, you're going to be like, I'm not going to sleep for a week. Marley's already lit over it.
She is like, guys.
She's like, can I have that doll?
I want to play with it. Does it have a squeaker?
Right? Oh, gosh. She loves a squeaker.
In my head, I said, that's what she said.
Friday the 13th. What can we say? It makes us frisky.
Frisky Friday. Take that, Lindsay Lohan. Hey, and Jamie Lee Curtis was in that.
Oh, yes.
Full circle.
Fuck.
Right there.
Okay. So the boy, Robert, became totally obsessed with the doll right from the start. He dressed the doll in his own sailor outfit and gave him his own pet lion. So he named the doll Robert, and he started going by Gene, as in Eugene, his middle name.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm. He said Robert was the doll's name. Like, he deserved that name, and he would be Gene from now on.
How old was this kid?
4. Yes. Okay. So he would take it everywhere. Okay. Did not leave home without Robert. Old Robbie Rob was his sidekick.
In his own sailor outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yes. He made people feed him at dinner. Okay. And demand that people talk to Robert as if he were real.
And they're rich enough
that people have to fucking do it.
Yes. Those poor servants were like, fuck, this doll.
Yes. So things begin to get kind of weird because...
now they're weird?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just like, oh, he's a little off. It gives him character. But so things get weird when the parents could hear Gene talking to Robert. Okay, so they're like, oh, okay, he's got his little friend.
Like he's playing pretend.
Yeah. Well, then they notice that Gene's talking, but then a voice is answering him that's really deep. And it's not a voice that Gene could go because, you know, his balls hasn't dropped.
Please tell me you wrote that as a side note in your notes for this.
No,
that you
I didn't.
Said, dash, his balls.
No, I didn't.
Oh, that is great.
That's funny, though. I wish I did.
No, you came up with that on the fly, which is even better.
So they were like,
that's weird.
Weird, but, you know, like, we're not seeing it. It's in his room.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Could be a servant talking to him. Who knows?
True. Sorry. Everybody always reasoning things away, and it's not. Don't reason them away.
No. Just believe. Okay, so then Gene began waking up screaming in the middle of the night, like every night. And when his parents would come and find him, he'd be on the bed, terrified, and his furniture would be overturned. Yeah. And when they were like, what happened? Because they heard like noises, you know, and he would cry and say Robert did it. And that's the only response he ever gave.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And he's 4, so how's he flipping furniture over?
Right. So you could say that the child was just blaming him for stuff he's doing, or the doll was really cursed, you know?
Yeah.
But Robert didn't stop at just turning over the furniture. He would also mutilate Gene's other other toys. He would, like, pop their heads off and shit.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he wanted to be number 1.
Yeah.
So the Ottos claimed that they could hear Robert giggle, and they would see glimpses of him running from the rooms.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? So he would be in several rooms without anyone moving him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the Otto family and their friends and all the guests that would come over to their house claimed that Robert's facial expressions would change depending on their conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And sometimes that they would even see him blink. And he had like little black eyes, like not
like the baby doll eyes that blink.
Yeah, not those. And then neighbors would say that they would see the doll moving from window to window when they weren't home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it's not just like this family that's being like, oh, all this weird stuff happens. Like other people are seeing it too.
Yeah. Yeah. So finally, with all the odd behavior and all the stories, Robert was locked up in the attic. Okay.
No, that is not what you do to a demon doll.
No. And the story goes that it was his aunt that actually put Robert in the box in the attic, and she died that same night. Yes. You know, she's probably haunting that place and been like, you made me put him in the fucking box, and he killed me.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So then when Robert was in the attic, a lot of the family servants would quit because they would hear Robert giggling all the time and running around the attic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they were like, no. Like, because a lot of them were Bohemian, so they really believed
in, like, the voodoo and the...
So they weren't messing around with that. Like, they know what's up. They're not reasoning anything out. They're like, no, we'd rather not get a paycheck and keep our lives.
Yes.
So soon Gene got Robert back from the attic, though, because he had, like, that pull over him.
Yeah.
Kind of how, like, at the Sally house, it had pulls and...
Yeah.
Over
certain people.
Mm-hmm. It was totally crazy, totally unhealthy, and people were like, this boy cray.
It's like, I mean, a 13-year-old carrying around a baby doll. Yeah, I mean, I know it's not a baby doll. It's like a life-size demon child. But,
yes.
I mean, what? Just think about it. Like, what would you do if you were out to eat somewhere and you were like, oh, there's this middle schooler sitting here with this 3-foot doll.
Right. And, like, feeding him.
I was going to say, sitting at the table next to us with, it's like, that doll has its own place setting.
Right. One, I'd be like, we're getting the fuck out of here. Doggy bag this shit. We're gone.
Oh my gosh.
But, okay.
Dine and dash.
Yes. So, eventually the Ottos moved to France. Not really known why, but probably because they're now, their son's being the weirdo and all of that. But so they keep their mansion in Key West, just pack up all their stuff, move to France. But they leave Robert, the doll, in the attic in a box.
Can we please have that kind of money to where we're like, look, we're going to keep our mansion in the States, but we're going to move to Europe.
Yeah.
Can we have that life?
Right.
Sans the creepy doll.
Yeah, I don't want that. So in France, Gene actually became less awkward, more social, like a normal
Good
boy.
For him.
Yeah. He studied art and he met a woman named Anne and they actually got married.
Aw.
Yeah, so he was,
thriving.
Like, 30, flirty, and thriving.
I swear to God, I was about to say that.
However, his parents died, and so he inherited the house.
Oh, God.
So he and his wife, Anne, moved back to Key West.
Do you think he told her about the doll before they got married?
I think he honestly had forgotten about the doll.
Yeah, maybe.
It was like out of sight, out of mind.
True.
For years.
Push that back into the subconscious so you don't have to deal with that.
I'm sure his parents paid a lot of money for people to be like, it wasn't really real.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff. But he rediscovered Robert in the attic when he opened that box and was like, oh my gosh, this is my best friend. And like, it's all coming back to me. All these things. You know? It's like Toy Story, like a
montage of the... You got a friend in me.
Yes. With some creepy ass music in the back.
Yes.
So he moved him down from the attic because from the moment he saw Robert, Gene was
drawn back in.
Yes.
Did it say if Gene and his wife had kids or no?
They did not.
Okay. Well, I was wondering, like, was he like,
well,
kids?
I mean, it didn't say they didn't have kids, but they didn't say they had kids.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think they did.
I mean, even if they did, he would probably be like, this doll's mine, kids.
Yeah.
Stay
Back
away.
up off it.
Yeah. This is mine.
Well, one, he probably wouldn't have said this doll. He'd probably been like, this is your Uncle Robert.
Yeah.
You can call him Bob.
And then Robert's head would spin around and say, don't call me Bob.
Yes. So, Gene said that Robert wasn't happy in the attic and that he wanted to have a room of his own, but it had to have a view of the street.
No.
Mm-hmm. So, he turned the turret room into his painting studio in Robert's room. And the turret, I think is how you say it. It's basically a circular room on top of a fancy house it's like circles and it has windows all around. It's like a tower, but has windows everywhere. You would know it if you see it. Like
Yeah. I'm looking it up.
You're looking it up. But you see what I mean? It's like fancy house tower, but with windows everywhere.
Yeah.
I would picture it like, in Mystic Pizza when they're all in that like seaside place where it looks like it would have like lighthouses and stuff. But it's that.
Yeah.
I just think of that because they had that telescope. And the dad that she was babysitting for.
Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like that was a turret or whatever.
Yeah.
Then made furniture to size for Robert, like a bed.
Oh my God.
A chair, all the works.
Look, that is when you have too much fucking money. I can think of a lot of things to do with that kind of money. And
right?
Making furniture for a 3-foot doll is not one of them.
Yes. And so he was totally infatuated with him again, and he would spend all his time in the room with Robert. I mean, it was his painting room, you know, so and he did art, but it was because Robert was there and Anne didn't like Robert, you know, so, I mean, because it's a creepy-ass doll.
And it's taken away from her time with her husband.
Yeah.
While he's playing with a fucking doll.
Yeah. So he would then carry Robert around like he had done before. So this is a grown-ass man.
Oh, my gosh.
Like.
Meanwhile, the older people in the town are like, oh, my God, it's him again.
Yeah. Hide your kids, hide your wife. It's Robert and Jean. And so then neighborhood kids would say that they would see Robert moving window to window in the turret room. I hope I'm saying that right. And that they would see him look at them and giggle while they were walking by. So many people have started to avoid the house, not walk that way because they were so scared that they were going to see him.
Yeah.
And they said that if he wasn't giggling, he would kind of have like a scowl on his face.
Oh my gosh.
So one, that you see this doll, even if I saw just a doll sitting in a chair
window. Yes.
in a window.
Well, and you'd be like, is that a doll? Is that a person?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's both.
Right. Yes. So Anne hated Robert. Hated him. But she was scared of him too.
Yeah.
She said that she could overhear Jean talking to Robert all the time and sometimes begging Robert not to hurt him. Yeah. So, like, Robert liked Jean, but he also, like, hated him, too, it seemed. You know, like, he was just an evil soul. So, it's kind of like your guy, you know, Big D, Danny.
Yeah.
You know, like, loved this person, but also wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Just to bring it back over to yours.
And, like, I wonder if it is real, then is that, like, how Robert got his power, though, is from, like, pulling it from Jean?
Yeah, probably. So Jean started to insist that Robert be fed first because he was now the master of the house.
I was about to say, he's the alpha dog now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. After a few years, Jean became abusive and would beat Anne. At one point, he even locked her in the outhouse in the backyard for 3 days. Yeah. And when she got out...
Sorry, I, like, didn't even have a reaction to that because my jaw was on the floor. Like, a doll is making him beat his wife and lock her in an outhouse. Like, this is in the early 1900s, so you know that was nasty.
Yeah.
And hot and nasty. It's in freaking Key West, Florida. You know that shit was hot.
Yes.
Pun intended.
Yes. But again, Jean said he didn't do it. Robert did it. You know, it was like Jean had been possessed by Robert, and instead of Robert being the doll, Jean was kind of his puppet and his toy.
Yeah.
So Jean died in 1974. Story goes that Jean was found dead in that special little room, the turret room, and Robert was there on top of him. What they had said was that Robert was on him and his hands were around his neck.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, so Anne moved and sold the house.
Anne was like, deuces, I'm fucking out.
Like, later. Robert was still in the trunk in the attic when she sold it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I found a story that said new owners had a 10-year-old daughter, and they found Robert the doll. And she was like, oh, yay. Which, when you see this doll, you're going to be like, skirt. Why were you delighted? But... I mean, to each their own, you know. But she was happy and had a sailor boy.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
With Jean's clothes.
Yes. Little did she know. But she found out why Robert was special when the doll was trying to kill her.
Oh my gosh.
She said that she would wake up with Robert like sitting on the edge of her bed. Yes. And then it moved to him trying to suffocate her. So he would like be sitting on her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She said that it even tied up the family dog.
No. See, why is it that, like, stories, you're like, okay, somebody was murdered, but the minute they kill a dog, you're like,
I know.
They're terrible people.
I know. Luckily, he didn't kill the dog. He just tied it up.
Like on a leash? No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I know it was bad, but...
And I couldn't find any name for this girl, so I couldn't, like, make sure it's a fact or anything, but said it on several different sites, so I'm going to put it in here.
Yeah.
Eventually, a lady named Myrtle Reuter purchased the house, and the doll was still there in the attic.
You totally say addict instead of attic.
Oh my gosh.
Just like Georgia on My Favorite Murder, she says addict too instead of addict. You really are her, and I really am Karen.
Yes, we took a quiz, and I was Georgia, and I was like, oh, that's totally true.
Duh, yeah. I love them.
Me too. If you do not listen to My Favorite Murder,
you should.
Yes, go binge it. They have like 5,000 episodes.
I was going to say, they've been going for like 2 years. I love that.
Yeah.
That podcast.
They only do true crime though. So if you are here for the ghost story and the crazy stories.
True.
Whatever, but their stories are great.
Yeah.
And they're hilarious. Okay, so Myrtle said that she too could hear him walking around in the attic. In the attic.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, she said that he would move from different rooms without anyone moving him.
And did it say she didn't have a kid in the house?
No, it was just her.
Oh my gosh.
One plumber that was working there said he heard giggling, and when he turned his head, he found Robert right there in the room with him. And he was like, peace. You don't have to pay me. I'm gone.
Out. Yeah. You get your deposit back.
Yes. There were several times that people said Robert's expressions would change to disdain if anyone negatively talked about Jean.
Whom he killed.
Yeah. But he loved him so much that he wanted to be with him.
Yeah, that's how this works.
Yeah, that's how love works. Duh.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't found it yet.
We want to stay alive.
Yeah, we're not willing to die. There was some reporter, and I did not write down his name, but they were like touring the house because it is like a landmark because Gene was a famous artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that, but he was. And so people were touring the house after he died. So the reporter wrote that one person was saying that Gene was an old fool for believing in Robert, keeping this doll around if he was like that. And that's when Robert's face like turned angry. And they said that it changed and it was actively listening to them. The doll is alive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he wrote that in a paper. I forgot to cite that. But so someone else who was like a legit person.
Yes.
Said this, So after owning the house for 6 years, Myrtle moved. I'm sure she was like, peace on this.
Yes.
She donated Robert to the Fort East Martello Museum. And that was in 1994.
What kind of museum is that? For creepy things?
Basically.
Okay. I'm like, because, is it like a Smithsonian? Because that's weird.
No, they have a lot of different things, but it's not like a creepy Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's actually, like, I think with stuff around that area and stuff like that.
Okay.
You always ask me these questions that I did not research.
I'm sorry. But that just seems so weird. Like, here, let me donate this demon baby doll to a museum.
Well, but he was famous because of Gene being famous. True. People were like, oh, this is a doll that he would carry around.
True.
That kind of thing. So she told the staff that Robert was haunted, warned them. And a side note is kind of like, coinky-dink? I don't know. The Fort East Martello Museum was built by Gene Otto. So it's like he's there with Gene still,
Oh my
that connection. So when Robert was first in the museum, he was out just like everything else, but that didn't last because during his first year there were several times that staffers would walk into the museum and shit was ransacked.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, what? Nothing would be missing, but Robert's shoes would have a little dust on them and he'd be somewhere else.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And they say that Robert would walk around at night so you could hear footsteps and there's no explanation for that because no one would be there.
Except for the people hearing the footsteps.
Well, on like camera and stuff. they too have sightings that Robert's expression would change in a blink of an eye of nothing. It's kind of like a smirk a little bit that's on his face, but that would either be happy or pissed.
Oh my gosh.
So they moved him into a glass case. Some of them have said that it would sound like someone's tapping on the glass when they walk by.
No.
And when they turn to look, Robert's hand is against the glass.
Nope.
Yes,
nope.
I know. So he will also cause your electronics to malfunction. So people would try to develop film. All of it would be messed up or it will be blacked out.
Oh my God.
Lose battery juice. You know, like multiple things when ghosts do that. Or spirits, I should say. Here's the kicker though. Visitors to the museum are given advice on how to approach Robert. Speak to him in a polite way. Ask his permission to photograph him and treat him with respect.
Oh my God.
And you're supposed to ask him, can I take this picture? And if he agrees, he will tilt his head down some.
What?
Yes. Okay. So it's like a little nod to you that you can take his picture.
Oh my God.
Right then I'd be like, peace.
Yeah, I don't want to see him.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yes.
If you don't think this is true, the walls of Robert's display are littered with letters from people apologizing for their behavior when they visited him.
What?
They've claimed that they've encountered, dreadful misfortune from accidents, death in the family, diseases. Someone said that they were riding their bike from the place, had a flat tire out of the blue, flipped over and broke their ankle and scuffed up their chin and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Which could be a coincidence and it could be in your mind and you could just be blaming Robert, but I wouldn't take my chance.
Right.
There are over 1,000 letters in total and the museum keeps and catalogs all of them for future reference.
Oh my God. So
I found several posts online where people are claiming that they've had these experiences. I saw several posts where people claim that they've had these, accidents and everything. And people were also posting replies on there saying, I'm so sorry, Robert, for viewing your picture without your permission, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, Robert, can I view your picture, please?
Stop.
Because, hello? So, yeah, but it's like...
Well, I don't want to see his picture. You keep that picture to yourself.
But so many people, and again, some are whatever, but a lot of it is, whoa,
Yeah.
And you see these people and they've handwritten these letters. It's not like an email. They've taken the time to write it, put that little stamp on there, and that's just so creepy.
Gosh.
All I know is that if I go to that museum... I will definitely be respectful of Robert the doll.
All I know is I'm not going to that damn museum.
Yes. And can you believe, though, he was the inspiration for Chucky?
Yes.
So it's you think of Chucky and there's a real life demon doll. That makes it even more scary. And, I'm scared of Chucky anyway because when I was younger, my mama and my oldest sister, Lori, they always decorated for every freaking holiday, but they loved Halloween. So they had a Chucky doll.
Of course they did.
Yes, and his little rainbow bright shirt and his overalls.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Well, they would keep him and a few other decorations in the central heat and air, that closet for the HVAC system underneath there. Well, that was in the hall to go to my brother's room.
Yeah.
Which is where you can play Super Nintendo. So I was always there.
Right.
But at night, I would make him open his door first so I can go in and not have to sit there, stand there to open it.
Yeah.
Because I was scared that Chucky was going to grab my ankles.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is great.
Oh, I hated that. And sometimes my mom would make me
get it out.
Yeah. And I'd have to crawl down there to pick up the back. And I was like, oh my God, his hand's going to touch me. I'm going to die.
Oh my gosh.
Finally, I was like, we're throwing that doll away.
It's
so creepy.
Scary.
So that's my story of Robert the doll.
Oh my, can I see the picture now?
Oh yeah.
I feel like I need to add I'm sorry, Robert, that I viewed your picture without doing your thing, without asking you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's creepy.
With his little lion.
Yes. And do you see all the...
I see all the letters.
Yeah. He is so creepy. And then
he looks kind of like a monkey.
Yeah, because his, like, facial expression, like, his face
is like wood.
Yeah, because it wasn't meant to be a doll. Well, and he had, like, different coloring because, I mean, he's, like, hundreds of years old. But can you think about, that was Gene's sailor outfit.
Yes.
And also that he was going to be used for a clown.
Now that I can see.
So creepy.
That, his hand, I feel like I have no words.
I know. He is so creepy.
And then, like, his reflection in the
like
window thing behind it.
Yes.
Is like, oh my gosh.
Like, I would not want to take a picture of him
or
anything.
I feel like I'm going to die just looking at this picture.
I know. And you have to drive home.
Dang.
That's creepy.
Is so creepy. You're putting that in the show notes, right?
Yeah. I hope we have set the mood for your Friday the 13th.
I would say so.
Yeah. If you weren't scared of it, if you didn't have that phobia.
That nobody knows how to say.
Yeah. The pterodactyl phobia. Yeah. You have it now.
Oh my gosh. Those are good stories.
Check your walls. Check your dolls. Our advice to you is 1, write us a good review. 2, don't walk under any ladders. Don't open any umbrellas inside.
Watch out for black cats crossing your path.
Yes, definitely cross those out.
Don't step on a crack. You'll break your mama's back.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have insurance.
If you know of any other urban legends or superstitious old wives' tales that you think we should know about, and you want us to maybe read, send it to us. Our email is aparanormalchicks@gmail.com. And if you want to see the creepiest freaking doll on the planet, go to our website at aparanormalchicks.com. And when you go to the website to look at that creepiest doll on the planet, go to show notes, and then that can see all the pictures and stuff from all of the different episodes.
Yes. And don't forget, we are on Twitter and Instagram as the APC Podcast. Okay, so we have 2 things on Facebook. Our normal page that will have notifications and show notes linked there, and that's at A Paranormal Chicks. And then we have a closed group where you can be your true self and no one else can see it but people like you.
Yes, no judgment on your love of true crime or the paranormal or nobody telling you, oh, that's not real.
Yeah. This is Friday the 13th. Now, don't get scared.